how do you think this is going to affect girl child education, especially in the north, where it's become a problem, where there's been this drive to try and, you know, push more girls into schools, and now this happens? Most schools are even shut down now as it is. We don't even know whether they're going to go back to school. I saw an interview of one of the girls who escaped saying she would never go back to school again. And you wonder how this is going to affect the entire, you know, topography and, you know, of all of this.
I'll be frank with you, I don't have the answer. It's sad and unfortunate, but even without Boko Haram, before Boko Haram, it was a struggle to get girls into the classrooms. I mean, historically, traditionally, women are not allowed to take the front line. They're not allowed to take the front seat. We're not allowed to be educated, because when we are, then we become we don't submit to our husbands. So generally, traditionally, culturally, women are not meant to be educated. You have to choose not to educate your girl child, you know. So it is bad enough that we had all that before, and then now Boko Haram has only worsened the situation. I wonder why they bother to use the YouTube to upload their stuff, because it's Western, as it were. So how do they record if they were against the Western education? Who helps them to record it? There's something I miss here. So if you're against this thing, then you shouldn't use it, you shouldn't even go near it. But they do. They upload 20 minutes, 30 minutes video on YouTube. That is a Western thing. He did say something. Do you know that, you know, Islamically, historically, we know that some of these things came from the Islamic history. Camera, the light, it was discovered by Muslims. If you go to 1001 Inventions, you'll get more of this information. Mathematics, it all came from Islam. But we don't hear all this in public media. And I blame the media for doing selective reporting. It's unfair. I'm a target, he's a target. I'm even more, I worry for myself, I fear for myself. I step out of here, I'm a target, because I'm saying that what they're saying is not true. And I'm a Muslim woman, I adorn the hijab. So it's a problem that I'm even speaking against them in itself. But the media isn't helping us, because they can't do this work. They can read up the Quran, they can quote these things. When this guy says the things he says, if he says he's saying it's from Quran chapter 4, verse 3, go into the Quran and pick it up and read it up, and, you know, spread it out there, push it out there, let people see what exactly these things say. He speaks Arabic. Arabic is a language. He could be speaking gibberish, not even anything to do with the Quran, and he's just saying crap. Go and pick up the Quran and see what this thing says. It says 95 verse 4. Go and see what 95 verse 4 says. It's not even telling what he's saying. He's just speaking a language. He could be combining Arabic, Aramaic, Hausa, and just jubbling it together and crap. You know, it's just sad and unfortunate. I feel for the girls. I feel for myself. I fear for them a lot. But I'll just say, you know, let us all remain firm. We are united in this. Let me even go back. Even if it was a war front, you know, we have rules and regulations. Muslims are educated not to touch places of worship. You don't go to the churches or mosques. You don't touch elderly people. You don't touch women. You don't touch children, even in the war front. So what are they on about? I have no clue, honestly.
She's talking about the media there, and I totally understand her point. I mean, we have a serious responsibility to, you know, inform correctly. But there's also the argument that, you know, terrorism for a long time now seems to be driven by Islamic fundamentalists, and it has been ingrained in people's heads that if this is it, then this must be the stand of Islam, you know, and it's hard to disabuse people's minds from that these days, because not just in Nigeria, in Pakistan, in Kenya, it's almost as if it's become an Islamic sort of agenda.
Yeah. Okay, sorry, just I will just say something to that. This history you've just picked up, Afghanistan, Iraq, Iran, have you heard a Muslim nation going into another nation to bomb the place?
No, not that I can't think of any now.
So there's something we need to get to the root of. So it is something, it's clear. The Muslim countries are peaceful because Islam preaches peace. And that's what it is. There's nothing else to it. So if we were really about violence, as it were, then these Muslim nations should be the ones in the forefront bombing other countries. So I'll just leave that, you know, with the viewers to go and find out why Muslims are not bombing other countries.
Yeah. So where are these individuals getting this from?
Yeah, well, you know, just like we've looked at, you know, there are sects that, like, just like I mentioned previously about the sects and the coming of people who stand on opinions, even though they are wrong and they are anti-Islam. But some of these things that they do is due to, you know, some sort of diabolical scheming in their own heads. And I was discussing actually with a producer yesterday, just before coming, that he mentioned something to me, that negative news sort of gains more sensation than what is positive. The fact that more than 99.9% of Muslims in the whole world today are preaching peace, are saying that, you know, let's live together, let's live in harmony, that doesn't get much coverage as 9/11, as, you know, bombing in Afghanistan, or as Pakistan, or things like that. So these are issues that, yes, the media hasn't, you know, really been at the forefront of helping in this regard. And also some blame comes back to the Muslim community as well, because we need to be objective. We need to understand that there's a balance. There needs to be a balance. We need to come out to speak as clearly as possible, and we need to try and speak in such a way that you're communicating, people understand what you're saying, and then they realize that, look, you do have some form of truth in you. You do have some, and it's not just about the speech alone. Even your character has something to do, has a role to play as well. And we should stop living in fear, because yes, fear is something that drives us. Just like she mentioned, you know, we're easy targets. For myself with the beards, I know how many times I've faced so many things. You know, even at the airport, I'm entering the plane and everyone's like, man, you know, you're just seeing people turning the other way. But I laugh at it, and then I find it amusing. And then when they hear me speak, they're actually like, oh, so you're actually this, you know, this kind of person, and things like that. So it's something that motivates me, that yes, I want to draw you closer, so you realize that not everybody with a beard, or everyone that has a cap, or every woman with a hijab has a plan of blowing you up, or has a plan of fighting you. No, we actually do want to live in peace. We all are. For us, we are brethren. We see ourselves not just brethren in faith alone, but brethren in humanity, because we all come from the same source, and ultimately we will all return back to that source. Whether you believe in it or not, there is an ultimate return to.
Do you think Muslim leaders have done enough to send this message across? Because, like, those educated people, Christian and Muslim, kind of know that not every Muslim is this way, but the general notion is of Islam as violence and all of that, and it's almost in the hands of, I mean, not everybody's going to meet you on the plane, not everybody's going to meet you on the road. It's those people in leadership who should speak up sometimes, almost never say anything, if you know what I mean. Yeah,
but we just said it's a selective media coverage. I'll tell you a quick one. So the Yanya bombing, right after the bombing, there was the school kidnap, the attempted school kidnap. So what happened? When it happened, everyone had this suspicion it could be linked to Boko Haram, right? But guess what? When the names were released, it became a theft. It was just a theft. But I guarantee if it was a Sulaiman or an Ahmed, was a Muhammad, it would immediately, the bus that was stolen, when the names were released, they were not Muslim names, so they were quickly cleared, they were not Boko Haram. But if any of them's names had been Muslim name, it would have been splashed all over the news, another, you know, attempted Islamic terrorism. So it is unfair. If I did something wrong right now, if I stepped outside and I did something wrong, and somebody else did it, Islam will go to the guillotine immediately, but the other person will walk free. So when someone does something wrong, blame the individual, but no, it's immediately ascribed to Islam. Just last week, I found someone's phone on his car. I got out of my car and ran after the car to give the phone, and they were like apprehensive, and I thought, I'm not handing a bomb, it's your phone, hello. You know, so it's unfortunate that when they see us and no, don't go there, it's not fair. We are equal, we're targets, and people need to understand that, they should understand that it's not us. If someone tells you something, we're in a global world, there is information there endlessly, you can easily pick up on these things and get to the root of it. But leaders are not doing enough. I totally agree with you. But they're working. There's Murik, there's Impact, there's Mulan, there are loads of Islamic organizations that talk. They send articles to the newspapers regularly. There are loads of Facebook pages, very, very active, but we don't get that much coverage. Several northern clerics have been killed because they spoke out against Boko Haram. It's not splashed all over the news. The most recent one is the Albani. He was killed with his wife and child. It wasn't covered. It should be splashed all over the news. These people speak against Boko Haram, but they get killed, and it doesn't get the coverage. So, which is why I said that selective journalism or selective reporting. But I would agree with you, we're not doing enough. The onus lies on every Muslim. It isn't just the leaders. We all should come out and speak up against this thing.